These bats may have flown thousands of miles from Africa's west coast to feed here tonight. Identifying and protecting these spots is critical to their long-term survival. One of my first experiences using a drone to help animals was during a massive bushfire season. I rescued koalas from the fires and also worked with the World Wildlife Fund to do wildlife population studies. Working with animals in Australia made me certain that drones are capable of much more. Ever since then, I've wanted to get back into wildlife work, and now I'm getting a chance in a place I've always wanted to visit. I'm in Africa. Using computers and artificial intelligence to analyze drone footage is still new, and this experiment shows why it's such a good idea. It's exciting to be on the forefront of science. It makes me more eager to work with the bat researchers. They want to know whether drones can be used to track the flying bats and help find unknown roosting and feeding spots.
Good to see you all. So where are the bats at?
We have some right up here.
Oh, whoa, jeez. There's a bunch of them.
These guys are straw-colored fruit bats, and we have like more than 6,000. Like the tree behind the church, it has like 3,500 just in one tree. So there are a lot. Yeah.
Did you have to count them?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
African bat conservation is focused on understanding what bat species are actually here, and then understanding their numbers, their habitat needs. There's very little research around what's even present.
These bats are coming from West Africa mainly, and they come in because they ripe fruits. Like there are more fruits now that
Oh, okay.
the wet season is arriving.
Oh, so they like it when it's the wet season.
Yeah.
So they're following the rains
Yeah.
in West Africa.
Huh.
It represents the largest, in terms of numbers, the largest mammal migration.
Yeah.
Up to like 10 million bats will move from West Africa down to East and Central. So,
And is their habitat pretty decent where they can make that pathway still?
I think that's definitely a challenge they're facing is, fragmentation of habitat along the way. So that's something that the research team does here in the Longways, work to understand their roost, foraging, movements, and then working with the relevant city authorities to protect those areas.
One of the reasons why there's so many bats here is because the bats here, this is their day roost. So they hang out here in the day because there's a lot more safety in numbers.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to sunset, they move across the city to look for other fruit trees, and they kind of split up into smaller groups.
Yeah.
The drone would be really helpful in this situation, just finding where they're moving out to foraging grounds throughout the city.
Yeah.
I think with the drone, with the camera, we should be able to follow. I mean, these are large enough to put off pretty big heat signature and help find out where exactly they're going to some of these gardens. So that information helps us then go to those places, work with those landowners or homeowners, and teach them about the importance of the bats. Hopefully, convince them, not to disturb the bats, not to cut down trees. I think in the next half hour or so, the sun will start to set here, and the bats will start making a move.
They kind of swarm a little bit before they then head out.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're gonna go and finish counting because we've got a lot of bats to count.
Oh, yeah.
Straw-colored fruit bats serve an important role in pollinating plants and spreading the seeds of fruit they eat. They're called the gardeners of Africa and help maintain the health of the forest across the continent. And they're really cute.
There's some flying that way, and there's
Okay.
another one flying that way.
And you've also got a group going over in that direction too.
So we should probably launch the drone.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, definitely.
Yeah, it's time.
All right.
Wow, look at them going over the road. That's so cool.
A software program to just take this footage and then
Count.
give you a count. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Really, really helpful.
It's so difficult counting them in the trees and getting an accurate count because they just layer themselves up in masses.
So is that them going into the tree right there?
Yeah. Yeah, they're going into that tree.
That's an interesting looking tree. Wonder
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like conifers.
So they might actually be roosting in that
Mm.
Yeah.
because they're not eating any of the cones or anything.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. So if we went in the day and checked it out, that might be a new roost.
So if you want it, the GPS is right here.
Okay.
So we take
Let's take a picture.
And we just get directly over it so you get exactly where it is.
This is so helpful because there's still so many roosts that we don't know about in the Long Way. And there's a lot of people here that don't love bats, and so we don't actually find out about a lot of them.
Yeah.
So finding these roosts is going to really help with the data that we're collecting and understanding the numbers that are actually coming to the city and moving around.
We still need to find out where these bats are feeding, so I bring the drone in for new batteries.
It doesn't seem to be affecting their flight path either, is it? They seem to just be moving around it.
Like they don't get really close to the drone.
Relatively slow movements. And
Exactly, yeah.
they're all right. They're not going to come right up next to it, but
But they do fly like it seems like they leave a circle around
Yeah,
the drone,
they're just
but then
moving
they
around.
just move like open the path.
Because I was worried that maybe they would fly towards it and then go in a different direction, but they're not doing that.
There's one going across the roof. There's someone going to the right as well.
Oh yeah, they're heading up that way, seems.
But by seeing them
I
like
know.
going splitting.
It's going all over.
The bats are tricky to follow, mostly because my infrared camera has a delay in the image. So I'm having trouble keeping up with the bats when they zig and zag. Fortunately, their heat signature makes them easy to spot when they're together in a tree.
Oh, there's a bunch. Right here. Oh, there's a ton right here. There they are.
Well, that's really cool. We'll have to check these locations out.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch right in here.
There's quite a
They
few.
could
in
be
there.
eating there.
Yeah, there's quite a few in there.
That looks like a fruit tree, doesn't it? Kind of.
It could be.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have to check.
so yeah, since it looks like they've all left here and settled down into feeding spots, we can go check out one of these clusters.
It's a short drive from the church to the GPS point in a residential neighborhood.
So, Doug,
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see there's a lighter patch of the tree that's moving.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna shine a little bit.
Gabby's just spotted one. You might be able to
Right
see
there.
its eyes,
He's by there.
and then I can hear there's one over there too.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
And they're actually really good at crawling along the branches, so they can actually move quite quickly when they want to.
These bats may have flown thousands of miles from Africa's west coast to feed here tonight. Identifying and protecting these spots is critical to their long-term survival. But tonight, I'm just happy for the chance to see them. Chloe and Gabby will contact the owner of the new roost tree we found earlier and encourage them to help protect the spot. Finding one new tree in a migration of 10 million animals may seem like a small victory, but I still think it's a kind of rescue. Hopefully 50 years from now, there are still straw-colored fruit bats using that tree for shelter. I came to Malawi to prove that drones can be an effective tool for studying and protecting wildlife, and I learned the drone is even more capable than I thought it could be. I definitely never thought it could measure an animal's heartbeat, and I'm excited to show that it can. By being the pioneer, it opens the doors for other people to try this stuff, and hopefully save more animals and habitat. I know I've barely scratched the surface of Africa. There's a ton more to see and animals to protect and communities to work with. I wish I could stay longer, but disaster is hitting much closer to home.
Howdy, howdy. Never a dull moment.
Good time. Drone is airborne. Thermal drone is airborne. And we are employing it tonight in the burn zone in Greenville in the Dixie Fire. He's in rough shape. Oof.
Is he breathing okay?
It's breathing kind of slowly.
Okay, that's not good. They have a high respiratory rate. Right, go fast!
Doug Thron is back to the rescue, taking his infrared drone from one disaster-torn corner of the world to another.
Most of these puppies will die if I don't save them.
One here.
Oh my
one
God, the black spots? All of those are dogs?
That is unreal.
The number of animals in need of help is only going up.
And Doug is on a worldwide mission to save them.
Use a drone for health assessments on wild animals and treat it for conditions.
Doug to the Rescue, Season 2.